Jim, our next question sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com.
You're talking about the final one? Is that what you're saying?
This can be the final one. We'll see if it's worth it.
All
This
right.
was sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com. No name attached. I'm a big fan of the show from Southampton, UK, and I have a question for you guys. With all the traveling wrestlers do, and with all the physicality they take in the ring, as well as all the backstage politics that there are in the wrestling business, why don't you see talent looking tired or shabby on screen? I understand there's makeup artists who help them look clean and tidy.
What?
But is it really enough for TV? Has Jim ever looked tired on TV?
Well, I mean, I assume I have. I can't call chapter and verse. Hey, May 7th, 1986, I did that worldwide show and I looked like shit. For one thing, I know they have makeup artists now. It's been a thing that was started in the, I guess, early 90s and maybe late 80s because Hurd did that too. Jim Hurd, for the big shows, the pay-per-views, and the Clash of Champions, he would fly a hairdresser in from St. Louis to cut the boys' hair. And the only people that would actually do it on a pay-per-view day to get a haircut, right? The only guys that would do anything to get something for free would get their hair cut. They'd look forward to it. Otherwise, and makeup for the announcers. Jesus Christ, not only in WCW, but then in the WWF. When I was doing announcing, I had to figure out, and it took me several months, figure out a way to slip around the makeup people, because I hate makeup. I don't want it on my face. I don't feel it. It's clogging my skin. I don't feel natural. I don't care whether I have a deathly pallor. And I'm sweaty. I want to look like I look on TV, for good or bad. So I would duck makeup, but I still don't think that they're making up the boys to just go out and do fucking promos, are they? I wouldn't think that would be the case.
Well, Heyman.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's an exception to every rule. Anything that you can put on Paul's face to come in between his skin and a high-definition camera would be a positive. But no, the guys are tired. It's the red light comes on. You're on fucking television. Suck it up, Buttercup. I've been out there, and so is a lot of the guys, with stomach flus or laryngitis or goddamn raging fucking flu of some description or injuries or coming back from surgery, or you're doing a promo that you probably wish you wouldn't have to do in some cases if you got to talk about some bullshit, whatever the fuck, suck it up and do it. You're not tired, you're a TV star. You can be tired when you're a regular fucking person. Haven't slept for a few days, red light comes on, get the fuck over it. That's all I can say is there's no... You go on, if you're going to be on fucking TV, that's going to live forever on video. If you ain't got a voice, do the best you can. If you can't walk, hobble. Can't hobble, crawl on your belly like a reptile. Get to the camera, cut the promo, do your thing. I don't know what else to say.
How many promos in your career do you think you did when you had a fever or when you were sick or hoarse? And also, what wrestler did you see sleeping in the back the most?
Oh, yeah, well, you can't single out any person to answer the last question first, especially at Atlanta TV. Guys would go and find an office or a cubicle somewhere that, because it was a skeleton crew of television station people at TBS on Saturday morning, and they'd sleep in somebody's desk chair or on top of their bag in the locker room. When Atlanta TV was early morning, so everybody was probably sleeping. I was cranked up because I was always cranked up because it's TV. What was the first part of that? Oh, when I was sick. What, you go back and the people who tweet out like wrestling from the 80s and 90s or on this day in, or the clips off the network of the old Atlanta TV shows or anything that Crockett did. And sometimes you'll hear me talking a little slower or a little hoarser or not projecting. Like sometimes you're on the road, you've got a cold, you haven't slept but 3 hours the night before, you've come from Massachusetts to fucking Georgia, temperature change. That's what led to me damaging my vocal cords in modern times, to where when I do announcing over a loud crowd and I'm yelling for a while, they'll flame up and they'll swell up and I can't talk. And I haven't had that happen for the past few years because I've quit going on these road trips, lacking sleep and screaming doing announcing. But it hampered me for years because you power through it. I wasn't going to go out there and do a 30-second promo. So I said, fuck my fucking laryngitis. I'll fucking talk one way or the other. A lot of other guys have Cactus Jack did his serious damage to his vocal cords doing that squeal, the shriek that he used to do when he was Cactus Jack. And say, I've done promos where I shit myself because I had diarrhea, straining.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah.
I didn't know that.
How the fuck tried. That's better than the first Smoky Mountain Wrestling spot show in Morristown, Tennessee. We did a TV taping and then came back 2 months later with a spot show and had the principal of the high school teaming up with Tim Horner against me and Stan Lane. And somehow early that morning on a Saturday, I came down with a stomach flu and I laid in bed in the hotel shitting and puking and told Sandy to run the show for me, and Hildebrand got to the building late, laid in the locker room until we had to go out. And every time I fell down, if I dropped an elbow or if he knocked me down or whatever, every time I hit the mat, I shit myself. And by the time it was, and then the finish was the principal body slamming me, which we taught him how to do that. And I said, just cover me. He covered me for a shoot. He put his elbow bone in my goddamn throat and leaned down to cover me for a shoot, and I shit myself again. But that's what happens. What are you going to do? Not be in the fucking main event? Or shit yourself? I just threw the trunks away.